Students, so today I will show you the remaining part of the experiment, that is C amplifier designing. In the previous class, what we have done, actually we measured the characteristics of the transistor. So that transistor which we will use to design C amplifier, and today I will design the C amplifier based on the calculations, right? And for the same parameters like voltage gain, that is 100, cutoff bandwidth obviously from 30 hertz to lower is the 30 hertz, and the upper cutoff is I assumed 1 megahertz, and the stability factor is 10. For that I am using same transistor BC547. Okay, or based on my calculations, I got some values of the parameters like R1, R2, CE or CL, sorry, RL or RC or RE, and CB and CB and CE and Cout. So we got the values for these components, and here you can see I have already connected all the components with the transistor on the breadboard according to this circuit diagram. Here you can see there is the base, where base capacitor is connected, which is C1, and R1, R2 is the biasing resistance, voltage divider circuit form. Here is the RL, which is actually RC, and here you can see this is RE connected to the emitter, and CE, which is here you can see this, which is written as a C2. So which is CE is parallelly connected to RE. Now here you can see this one. Here you can see this one is the collector, left one, middle one is the base, and the bottom one is the emitter. So this collector is connected with the RL resistance, okay, and emitter is connected to the RE resistance, this one, and the base part, here you can see base is connected again R1 resistance, and base is also connected to the R2 resistance, which is connected to the RE at the ground. Here you can see R2. Base is the common for R1 and R2. Here you can see this is R2, this is R1, this is RL, this is RE, and again C2 capacitor or CE capacitor is connected connected to ground or other terminal of the RE, which should be ground actually. And here you can see base is connected, middle terminal is connected to capacitor. So this capacitor is RB, this capacitor is RE, and I will use this capacitor as a R out. So R out should be connected to the collector. So I will take collector as the output terminal. This one is the collector. Now this is the output. So circuit part is done. Now we'll provide the supply, DC supply, and the signal, and we'll see at output at the collector after after capacitor. So I will use this DC power supply to provide VCC voltage. Here you can see this is R1 and this is RL or RC, you can say RC. So I am connecting this with the VCC positive terminal, and the negative of the circuit is I am going to connect with the ground. After RE, R1, R2 and CE. So this is become ground, this become VCC. Now come to the signal. So we have to provide signal which will amplify it which we okay, now see here, you can see this is function generator. This is function generator. So I am taking out a signal positive, and I am going to connect it CB to the CB, and common ground is at the emitter in RE. So input is given, VCC is connected, DC power supply is connected, input signal is also connected. Now I'll take output. To see the output, I will use this DMM to see the signal. Amplified signal, to see the amplified signal, sorry, positive set connected to positive, okay, that is okay. See, so collector is connected to the C out capacitor, and this connected to the DSO, and ground is connected to common to the ground part. Here you can see. So the role of this output capacitor is to filter the DC from the signal. Okay. Now, so circuit is connected completely. So we need, according to this circuit, so what we need to do right now, we'll turn on this DC power supply, and I'll turn on this function generator, which is already turned on. So we'll see how the output is coming. Right now input signal is, we are observing the input signal directly from the function generator. Here you can see function generator, one part of the function generator from the channel 1 is directly connected to channel 2 of the DSO. So this is the output of the channel 2, that is the input signal which is given to the amplifier. So this is the input signal, and we'll see output at the channel 1. So right now it is almost 0. Okay, see, since the DC is 0, that is why we are getting some abrupt type of signal. So right now what will I do? First I'll set right now the amplitude of the input signal is 4 volt peak to peak, which is very high actually. See, signal could not be cross the VCC. Amplitude of the output signal, amplified signal, cannot be cross VCC. Okay, so our VCC can be maximum 25-30 volt. So if we and we have designed C amplifier for the 100 gain, that means if we are giving the 4 volt input, right, so output of the amplified signal should be 400 volt, which is not possible to see here because VCC is 30 volt, so output should be below 30 volt. So we have to provide input signal whose amplitude should be that much, so that gain could then cannot exceed the VCC. So I am going to fix it at let us say 50, sorry, let us say amplitude, I'm going to fix amplitude of the input signal 50 millivolt peak to peak. Okay, okay, now so input signal amplitude of the input signal is 50 millivolt. Right now frequency is 50 kilohertz, so I'm going to fix it at 1 kilohertz. Okay, now I'm going to turn on the VCC. Right now VCC is 0. I'm taking output from the channel 1. So I am going to increase this VCC. I am going to fix it at let us say So now we are going to see the performance of C amplifier by varying the frequency of the input signal, and we'll see how gain will change with respect to frequency of the signal. That will give you the bandwidth of the signal, in which we will get the uniform gain. So let us start. Right now so frequency of the input signal is at 50 Hertz, which is you are showing in the green, and the output is almost 0. We are getting nothing. This is actually noise part, so we are getting nothing at the output. Now let us start increasing the frequency, and we'll see how the amplitude of the output signal is changing. So let us fix at the 100 Hertz. So here you can see we have getting some small amplitude of the signal. Here you can see. Now again I'm going to increase frequency. So right now amplitude of the input signal is peak to peak amplitude is 109 millivolt. I just changed from 50 to 100 millivolt to just see the gain actually. So and the hertz frequency frequency of the input signal is 100 Hertz, and the output we are getting 2.5 volt, right? 2.5 volt peak to peak, and but frequency is fluctuating very high because of the high noise at the low frequency. So right now I'm going to increase again frequency 100 to 500 Hertz, and we'll see how output is changing, amplitude of the output is changing. So here you can see at the 500 Hertz, here you can see at the 500 Hertz output is the 5 volt, input is the 100 millivolt, 109 millivolt, or we can take it as 100 millivolt approximately, and we are getting 5 volt. That is 50 times gain we are getting right now at the 500 Hertz. Now again I am going to increase frequency. I am going to fix it at 1 kilohertz, right? So right now here you can see. So here you can see input amplitude of peak to peak amplitude of the input signal is again 100 millivolt, but the output is amplitude of the output is increased from 5 to, which is fluctuating between 7.4 to 8.1. So gain is almost now 80, and the frequency for both input and output are same, 1 kilohertz. Now again I am going to increase frequency from 1 kilohertz to 5 kilohertz. So here you can see at the 5 kilohertz noise is less, and the signal is also stable now, output signal, and VCC is 30 volt right now. Okay, so we have done the calculation for the 30 volt VCC. That is why we fix the VCC at 30 volt. And here you can see right now the output voltage is 16, peak to peak output voltage of the amplified signal is 16 volt, input is 105 millivolt, frequency is same but inverted at the output from the input, but the gain is almost 150 or 160 gain. Okay, I think 50% is larger gain is coming. We are getting 50% larger gain as we have designed for the 100, but right now we are getting 150. There is no issue. Actually we can whatever the value we get from the calculation, but the exact same value resistance and the capacitor we are not getting in the lab, because that is manufactured based, and it is standard values which are provided by the vendors or manufacturers actually. So whatever, if you get some, suppose 29 ohm, that doesn't mean you will get the resistance of 29 ohm exactly. You will get some standard resistance like 25 ohm or 47 ohm, 32 ohm, like that. So there is obviously tolerance. So that is why I am getting some little high gain. Okay, now come again to the frequency of the input signal. I am going to increase it from 5 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz. Here you can see at the 10 kilohertz output is 17.5, input is same, that is 100 millivolt, but the output is 17.5 volt. That means 175 times gain we are getting at the 10 kilohertz. Initially it was 5, 50, then 100, then 150, then right now it is 175. So as we increasing the frequency from 100 hertz to 10 kilohertz, gain is also increasing. So at the 10 kilohertz gain is 175. Now again I am going to increase the frequency from 10 to 15 or 20. Let us say 20 kilohertz. At the 20 kilohertz gain is 18.1, which is fluctuating actually from 17.9 to 18.1. So we can assume it 180. So gain is now 180. From 10 to 20 kilohertz gain is 180. Okay. Again I am going to increase frequency. At the 30 gain is same, 18.1. Here you can see at the 30 kilohertz frequency gain is 18 volt, that is 180. Okay. At 40 kilohertz again gain is same. So initially it was increasing, gain was increasing with respect to frequency. Now it become constant, almost constant, and we will see up to what frequency it will be a constant. That will give you the bandwidth, which is the desired range. So operating range, which is known as the bandwidth, operating bandwidth of the amplifier. So right now 60 kilohertz again output of the amplified signal is 18.1, which is 181 gain right now. Okay, so again we are observing same gain for the 70 kilohertz frequency. 80 kilohertz again we are getting the same, 90, 100 kilohertz. At the 100 kilohertz gain is now at 17.9, which is almost again same. Now come to the we will see at what will happen at 200 kilohertz. So at the 200 kilohertz, no, okay, now it is start decreasing. Right now it is 17.5 or 17.9. It is fluctuating between 17.5 to 17.9. Okay, now again going to increase frequency. Right now it is 300 kilohertz. So at 300 kilohertz the output is 17.5, so gain is 175. At 400, 17.1. Here you can see now the gain is again start decreasing. Initially it was increasing, now it is start decreasing at the higher frequency. So we will get some upper cutoff frequency. Okay. At 500 kilohertz now the gain is 17.1 or 16, it is fluctuating 16.5 between 17.1 actually. So at 600 kilohertz 15.1 or 15.7. Here you can see the gain start decreasing. At 700 it is now 14 point, or it is fluctuating between 14.9 to 15.1. At 800 kilohertz it is obviously 14.1. It start decreasing, and at the 900 kilohertz it is now 13.5 volt. So gain is now from 180 it's come to the 135. Again at the 1 megahertz the gain is, output voltage is 12.9. Here you can see. So peak to peak voltage of the output signal, amplified signal, is 12.9. So now the gain become 130. So as we increasing the frequency, gain is start decreasing. That gives the upper cutoff frequency. Now right now it is 1 megahertz. Now again I am going to increase further. At the 2 megahertz, now it is suddenly decreased. At let us say 1.5 megahertz. Now the gain is 9.8 or 10.5. It is fluctuating. So we can assume 10 volt. So at the 1.5 megahertz gain is now 10 volt. That gain is now become 100, from 180 to 100. And again I am going to increase. At the 2 megahertz frequency gain is now become 7.8. So as you can see, we increase the frequency, gain is start decreasing, that gives the upper cutoff. So again now I am going to increase from 2 to 3 megahertz. Here you can see at the 3 megahertz, the output voltage is 5 volt. That means gain is become almost 50 times. At the 4 megahertz, gain is become now 3.5, 35. At the 5 megahertz, gain is now 2 point something volt. So you have seen actually when we started from the 100 hertz low frequency, so initially gain was the low, and as we reach from 1 or 10 kilohertz frequency, now gain becomes stable, which was 150 to 180. After after increasing the frequency up to 1 megahertz, it start decreasing now. That gives the output cutoff frequency. At the 5 megahertz, we can see this is 2.5 volt. So this is the frequency response of the C amplifier. So the operating range now we can take from 1 kilohertz to up to 2 megahertz. Okay, so that is the now bandwidth is practically we are getting the bandwidth is around 2 megahertz, but we designed for the 1 megahertz from 50 hertz to. Theoretically, we designed C amplifier for the 50 hertz, the lower cutoff, and the upper cutoff was the 1 megahertz. But right now we are getting gain bandwidth from the 1 kilohertz or 500 hertz to 2 megahertz. So, as I already told you, the difference between theoretical and the experimental, because of the value of not matching the exact value of the component from the theoretical to the experimental. So there should be some tolerance always present. So this is the response for the sine wave. If the input is the sine signal, what will happen if we change the input signal? I mean, if we use square wave, will it amplify? Because it is also alternating. If we use the triangular wave or sawtooth wave, so what will happen with the bandwidth of the amplifier? Will it perform similarly as we did with the sine wave? So this is the task. Actually, another task we have to show you, and we'll show you actually. And so this is the designing part, and we checked the performance of the C amplifier with the sine wave as an input, and we saw that how the gain of the amplifier is changing with respect to frequency, or we also saw the operating frequency range, that is the bandwidth in between whatever the frequency in that range, so gain is the almost constant. So that is the desired range for the operating of the C amplifier. So I am going to change the input signal from let us say from sine wave to square wave. So right now the input signal is square wave with the frequency is 100 hertz, and the peak to peak amplitude is 100 millivolt. So so output is now is a kind of we are getting some kink at the output. So as you can see, okay. So we'll see how the output will change if we increase the frequency of the input signal. Right now it is 100. We'll see what will happen with we fix the 500 hertz. At the 500 hertz, here you can see it is kind of differentiating circuit, but the gain is almost 22 volt. Right now its gain is 22 volt. 121 is the input, 121 millivolt input, and the 22 volt is at the output. Okay, so initially gain is very high. We'll see what will happen at 1 kilohertz. At the 1 kilohertz, gain is constant, that is 22.1, and input is 121 millivolt. Okay, At 5 kilohertz, this we are getting the output is like this, and the input, obviously input is the square wave, and the gain is again constant. At the 10 kilohertz, we can see shape is almost same of the output, and gain is 20.9. At 20, 30, so gain is not changing so much. So at 50 kilohertz, gain is 19.3, and output is almost inverted square shape we are getting. You can see here is low, here is high. So at the 50 kilohertz, now I am going to increase at now input frequency is 100 kilohertz and output is 18.9. so now it gain is start decreasing actually. So at 200 kilohertz, 18.5, so gain is start decreasing actually. At 3, 4, 500 kilohertz, gain is 18.5. okay. At 1 megahertz, you can see, so square wave is now almost converted like it is showing like charging of capacitor and discharging of capacitor, which forms some kind of triangular wave. Now at 2 megahertz, you can see gain is rapidly decreased. At 1 megahertz, 16.5 volt at the output, peak to peak amplitude of the output. Okay, and at 2 megahertz, gain is now 10.9 or almost 11. At 3 megahertz, output is 7.6. At 4 megahertz, at the 4 megahertz, it is now become actually unstable. So let us say 3.5. So right now 6 volt, at the 3.4, at the 3.5 megahertz, 5.6 volt. After that it start showing almost 0 voltage. That means the oscillator become unstable. So this kind of response we are getting at the high frequency if the input signal is square wave. Now let's see what will happen if we change the input shape from square to triangular or ramp for, let us say, 1 kilohertz frequency. So at the 1, or we can reduce further at 100 hertz. We have to start with 100 hertz. So at the 100 hertz, we are getting nothing but actually 2.2 volt at the output, which is actually noise, around the noise, and the input is 107 millivolt, and the frequency is also almost same. Now I am going to increase frequency from 100 to 500 for the triangular input. The output, we are getting output like a square wave. At the now going to change 1 kilohertz. See, we increase the frequency, gain is also increasing, and output is kind of a square wave we are getting. So at the 5 kilohertz, we are getting some triangular shape, and the gain is now 14.5. Input is 103 millivolt, output is 15. So we are getting gain almost 150 times, 150 gain at the 5 kilohertz. Now we increase the frequency at 10 kilohertz. So we can see gain is 17.3, that is of 103 millivolt. So that is on 175 or 177 or 180, we can say 180 gains we are getting at the 10 kilohertz. At the 20 kilohertz, again gain is 18.1 volt, that is the 180 times gain is getting, we are getting 180 gain. At 30, again volt gain is constant. At the 40 kilohertz frequency, gain is 18.1. In the inverted output we are getting at the 50 kilohertz, again gain is 18.1. So here in this range gain is almost constant. At 60 again gain is constant, 70, 80, 90, 100. So at 100 we are getting 18 point, which is fluctuating actually, 17.7 to 18.1, but the gain is almost same at the 100 kilohertz. Let's see what will happen after 100 kilohertz. At the 200 gain is now 17.3, at 300 16.5, we are getting 16.5, or at 400 kilohertz we are getting gain 16.1 or 15.7, between 15.7 to 16.1. At 500 kilohertz we are getting 15.3 volt, that is the 153, which is fluctuating actually from 14.9 to 15.3. So we are getting gain almost 150. Now it start decreasing from the 100 kilohertz. So here we can see actually the trend is after 100 kilohertz gain start decreasing actually. So there is the effect of shape of the input signal that affect the bandwidth of the amplifier. So actually this this analysis is just to show you. So the input signal, type of input signal, obviously affect the bandwidth of the amplifier. So this is the experiment, so and the analysis part of the experiment. So now you have to submit your report combined with the calculation part, I mean characteristic part of the transistor, calculation part, and the frequency response. And you should plot the frequency response over log scale, because I think you should understand why people are using log scale for the frequency response of the amplifier. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you why, but obviously you have to use log scale. So that is the thing actually for this experiment, and you have to submit combined for the all two parts together in the single report, and submit it as you did earlier. Okay, thank you so much.